All right, students, welcome back. Module 12, Supporting Decisions and Processes. In a typical organization, decisions fall into one of three categories. We have structured decisions. These are programmable tasks that can be automated because they have a well-defined operating procedure. We have a lot of documentation telling exactly how these steps happen. Semi-structured decisions, which aren't as well defined, they have structured decisions and unstructured decisions. And then purely unstructured decisions are typically one-time decisions with no standard operating procedures. And this is really where human intuition plays highly into working these decisions out. Herbert Simon defines three phases in the decision-making process: intelligence, design, and choice. And we can also add a fourth phase for implementation. And we're going to go through each of these in the next couple slides. You've probably done the intelligence phase either in your personal life or maybe for a company you work for. And it's basically we take grasp of how our normal day-to-day procedure is and can we find a better way? Can we implement Agile or Six Sigma? What can we do to improve the processes we have already to increase productivity and lower our bottom line? Design, we take this a step further. What are the criteria for making a decision, and can we have alternate ways to meet that criteria? Choice phase is where we sit down with our decision makers, bring in some of the VPs, and we make the best choice for our business moving forward. And sometimes the best choice isn't the one that saves us the most money or is the quickest. There's a lot of factors that need to be taken into account when we're making large decisions like this. You can't just put a plan into action. Sometimes we need to plan how we're going to carry out the plan, and that's where the implementation phase comes in. How are we going to carry this out in our organization? Is it going to be rolling upgrades, or are we going to do it all at once, or are we going to do it in phases? And this is where decision support systems are vital to help making this happen. DSS is an interactive information system that has hardware, software, data, and models, and it's designed to help decision makers make decisions. It's a decision support system. Sometimes it's difficult for individuals in high management positions to understand the nuts and bolts of some of these plans. So DSS kind of breaks it down into language that almost anyone can understand, the pros and cons of each path, what this means for the organization moving forward. And it's an incredible tool to help make the right decision. Even if you could be a subject matter expert, DSS systems can really help anybody make the right decisions moving forward. A lot of requirements go into DSS, but I think the most important is it needs to support decision makers at all levels. Like I said previously, it helps your subject matter experts, but it needs to be written in a way that everybody can understand, from your vice president of accounting to strategic leadership to human resource. Any stakeholder in this needs to be able to look at the DSS, understand it, and know how it affects their particular process. The DSS really links three main areas. We have the database. This is your DBMS. Your model base, and this is what builds your statistical models based off of the data input. And then the user interface, which allows anybody of any skill level to be able to interpret this data and model. The next slide is just a graphical interpretation of this. Your DSS engine is in the middle, and it's pulling from your database, your model base, and the user interface, giving a all-around use of the information for everybody. DSS includes the following types of features to support decision making. What-if analysis. This shows the effect of a change on one variable. So if labor costs increase by 4%, how does the final cost of a particular product affect it? Goal seeking. This is the reverse of what-if analysis. It asks what can be done to achieve a particular goal. Sensitivity analysis. This enables one to apply different variables, such as maximum price that we might pay for raw materials and still make a profit. Exception reporting analysis. This it's a little abstract here. This takes variables that are outside of a defined range. So maybe let's look at a region that generates the highest total sales, or a production area that went over budget. Sometimes we can develop a DSS with resources we already have available. There was a time many years ago where we developed a DSS using nothing more than an Access database. We linked a couple databases together and it worked. It wasn't the most elegant or quickest program ever, but it got the information we needed to the stakeholders who needed it. And it was with assets we already had. But sometimes you require new hardware or software. And before you make this investment, you and your organization really need to weigh the costs and benefits of using a DSS. Do you need something with all these bells and whistles, or can you develop something in-house with the materials you have already? If you have an employee who's really good at Excel, sometimes you can whip up an Excel spreadsheet that pulls data from other sheets. If you want to kick it up a notch, then you can use Access. But sometimes the cost of the DSS almost offsets any benefits of using it, depending on the size of the organization and what kind of structure you have. And then we have EIS, Executive Information System. This is a branch of our DSS, but it is catered specifically to executives to give them that 30,000-foot view. It's usually just a dashboard that they can examine and analyze information. I don't want you to think that this is a watered-down DSS. Sometimes it can be, but depending on who these executives are and what role they play in the organization, they really... Have you ever heard the expression, sometimes it's like a sausage factory. You don't want to know how it's being made. You just want to know that we're making sausages. They don't want to know the nuts and bolts of what our steps are, what our processes are. They just want to know the end goal. Are we making profit? Are we making our goals? And that's really what an EIS does. DSS can be used by executives, but sometimes they're more of the hands-on individuals. And obviously, these are generalizations that vary depending on your organization and who in that C-suite, what their personality is and how involved they want to be. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this video on Module 12. Do a little shorter one for this. You guys are doing great work. Keep it up. As always, if you have any questions, and keep pushing forward. Thank you.